Hello, I'm Miss Ginger of Greenhouse Preschool in Bothell, and today I'm going to be reading The Story of Ferdinand by Monroe Leaf. Once upon a time in Spain, there was a little bull, and his name was Ferdinand. All of the other little bulls would run and jump and butt their heads together, but not Ferdinand. He liked to sit just quietly and smell the flowers. He had a favorite spot out in the pasture under a cork tree. It was his favorite tree, and he would sit in its shade all day and smell the flowers. Sometimes his mother, who was a cow, would worry about him. She was afraid that he might be lonesome all by himself. "Why don't you run and play with all the other little bulls and skip and butt your head?" she would say. But Ferdinand would shake his head. "I like it better here, where I can just sit quietly and smell the flowers." His mother saw that he was not lonely, and because she was an understanding mother, even though she was a cow, she let him just sit there and be happy. As the years went by, Ferdinand grew and grew and grew until he was very big and strong. All the other bulls he'd lived with in the same pasture would fight each other all day. They would butt each other's heads and stick each other with their horns, and what they wanted most of all was to be picked to fight at the bullfights in Madrid. But not Ferdinand. He still liked to sit just quietly under the cork tree and smell the flowers. One day, 5 men came in very funny hats to pick the biggest, fastest, roughest bull to fight in the bullfights in Madrid. All the other bulls ran around snorting and butting and leaping and jumping so that the men would think that they were very, very strong and fierce and pick them. Ferdinand knew that they would not pick him, and he did not care. So he went out to his favorite cork tree to sit down. But he did not look where he was sitting, and instead of sitting on the nice cool grass, Ferdinand sat on a bumblebee. Well, if you were a bumblebee and a bull sat on you, what would you do? You would sting him, and that's exactly what this bumblebee did to Ferdinand. Wow, did it hurt! Ferdinand jumped up with a snort. He ran around puffing and snorting and butting and pawing the ground as if he was crazy. The 5 men saw Ferdinand and they all shouted with joy. Here was the largest, fiercest bull of all, just the one for the bullfights in Madrid. So they took him away for the bullfight day in a cart. And what a day it was! Flags were flying, bands were playing, and all the lovely ladies had flowers in their hair. They had a parade into the bull ring. First came the banderillos with long sharp pins with ribbons on them to stick into the bull and make him mad. Next came the picadores, who rode skinny horses, and they had long spears to stick into the bull and make him madder. Then came the matador, the proudest of all. He thought he was very handsome, and he bowed to the ladies. He had a red cape and sword, and he was supposed to stick the bull last of all. Then came the bull, and you know who that was, don't you? Ferdinand. Everyone called him Ferdinand the Fierce, and all the banderillos were afraid of him, and the picadores were afraid of him, and the matador was scared stiff. Well, Ferdinand ran to the middle of the ring, and everyone shouted and clapped because they thought he was going to fight fiercely and butt and snort and stick his horns around. But not Ferdinand. When he got to the middle of the ring, He saw the flowers and all the lovely lady's hair, and he just sat down quietly and smelled. And he would not fight or be fierce no matter what they did. He just sat and smelled. And the banderillos were mad, and the picadores were madder, and the matador was so mad that he cried because he couldn't show off with his cape and sword. So they had to take Ferdinand home. And for all I know, he is sitting there still, under his favorite cork tree, just smelling the flowers quietly. And he is very, very happy. The end. Thank you for listening.